your intake paperwork from when you did intake with Andrew and see if it describes what steps you need to take or what forms you need to fill out. We have an appeal form here, but that's definitely for appealing decisions that are made by Y staff. So I don't know if they use the same form as we do or not. So check and see what that is. But this way, it'll buy you some more time.
Okay.
And have you got any more lead? Did you get to meet with that landlord you mentioned yesterday?
I got that list that you gave me yesterday, and I was at the library today, and it's about 11 o'clock, and I received a phone call from the YWCA Family Center talking about they were taking our room from us for infractions, and I came here directly to dispute that because I had Deborah Turner. The third infraction that I got was about a floor. They said that we didn't clean our floors, and I showed Deborah as soon as I got in there, like, look, these floors were stained from before we got in here. I tried to clean these, and she agreed, so she allowed me to go ahead and use her name. She told me to come see you, but when I came to see you, I completely forgot about it. And I got another infraction today, which was what caused unfolded clothes, which when I came here to dispute it, we went to the room and I showed them there was no unfolded clothes, so they ripped up the infraction for today and the infraction for the floor.
Good.
But it took time out of and focus out of what I was doing, and I was just really discouraged after that whole incident because us having a room is real important to us. They don't realize, they were like, oh, well, we're not exiting you, we're just putting you back on the cot.
Mm-hmm.
But the staff doesn't realize like how important these rooms are to these people because it gives you more security for your stuff. Your stuff's not in a storage bin where you have to be concerned about it, and you also have more time to rest.
Right. So you didn't get to follow up with that other landlord?
What other landlord?
You said there was one you showed up for yesterday.
Yeah, I called him and left a message. He hasn't called me back. I've called him. He was supposed to meet me. He was supposed to call me back to let me know what time to meet him. He never called me back, so I called him again and left a voicemail. So I don't want to. I don't think it would do any good to blow his phone up. So I went straight into the list that you gave me, and I was online trying to figure out ways to come up with phone numbers to those names.
Okay, any luck with that?
I didn't find that one. I didn't realize like how difficult that is.
More difficult than it looked.
I mean, I didn't really get to give it my full because I got called with this issue here.
Okay. All right. Well, at any rate.
But I do have a place for $450 on the west side that was in terrible. I mean, I don't even know if it'll pass an inspection, but I think he'll let me sign a lease, but it's not going to pass an inspection.
If you can get him to fill out the rental agreement, though, that'll buy you some time.
Okay.
Because the issue with this is you haven't even presented a housing verification or a rental agreement.
Okay.
Here.
I know. I trust me. I keep it ready to be
so
signed.
What I suggest you do is one, start the appeal. Find out whether you use the appeal form that you have with HFF, or if there's one up at the front. You can always ask for the appeal form at the front. If they use the Y appeal form, and I'm going to shoot him an email too and ask, okay, what's the appeal form, who they get it from, so forth. Anyway, so start the appeal process.
And call that landlord and have him
call that landlord, and if he'll sign the agreement, and you can get that to Andrew as soon as possible.
Well, that was my plan, was to call him in the morning when I got this exit letter right here to get this guy to sign this letter.
Because what's going to happen is they're going to set a meeting for an appeal, and if you can go to that meeting or even before that meeting and say, yeah, I've got at least one of these. Okay, yeah, I haven't been able to get this until now, but I've got 1, 2, whatever, at least one agreement. Then that buys you some more time. Okay. The worst thing to do is just give up and say, oh well, I'm getting exited.
Oh, I'm not giving up. I just wasn't sure of my options until I'm sure he informed me about the the appeals.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much information. Everybody, when you come into this facility, there's so much information you have to absorb and try to retain, and that I forgot about that appeals process. So I'm not giving up. It's just really frustrating.
I understand, but I want to encourage you to not let go to the appeal process, because that will buy you some time, and use the 11th hour here to go out and get some rental agreements. And as long as you're doing that,
Okay.
You'll get a little bit of extension. At least before you get exited from here. So try to make that happen, okay? Because you do have the right to appeal, and you won't get exited from here until you exhaust your appeals and all that. Okay. So,
I will definitely get on that plan ASAP.
Yeah. So you still got
options.
You still got some options.
I wasn't realizing when I got that letter right there, because when I spoke to you, I think it was yesterday. You said as long as my sponsor will vouch for me that I'm still good here, and that basically is the opposite of vouching for me right there. So I was really bummed out.
Yeah. So go ahead and do the appeal, because without doing the appeal, then you'll be exited on the 19th, which is tomorrow. So I tell you what.
Should I try and call tonight and leave a voicemail?
At least leave a voicemail.
Because I'm sure he's not going to be in right now.
Probably won't be, but he'll get it in the morning and say, "Hey, I just got this letter. It's it's already almost 7 o'clock."
I'm going to go read my paperwork first before I make that call.
See what the appeal process there. I'll shoot him an email, let him know you and I just spoke, and follow up and say, he's going to start the appeal process, and we'll go from there. Okay. So do that tonight. I'll shoot an email, and then tomorrow try to get, even if it's that one on the west side. It's not the best, but at least you'll have one in your hand when you go to that appeal. You say, "Yeah, I've got this one," and hopefully you can get another one or two, also.
Okay.
All right. But that'll buy you a little bit of time.
I'm glad I came and talked to you. So.
Yeah. So.
Thank you, Peter.
You're welcome.
All right.
We'll pull that up, and I'll shoot Brian this email.
Thanks, Peter.
All right.
Peter, he said that I can file an appeal. It's going to buy me a little bit of time, so I don't have to wait till by tomorrow. Okay. So I got a few days.
Okay. Well, I'm still going to get online for you to check some stuff out.
I appreciate it.
You got to eat? Okay. I'll get it as soon as I come back in. I'm about to finish smoke, and then as soon as I come back in, I'll get your email address. So that way, whatever I look for, I can put it in, and then you can be eating.
Yeah, it'll go straight to my phone.
Trying to do a house? I can try to do a house.
I don't need a dog house. I need a real house.
I did that. I found it.
You can find me one?
And then I'm going to get you a farm. So then I'm going to get you a farmer so then you can ride the horsey everywhere you go.
These two right here this morning. There's some patio up there. These two are just going now.
That's what he told me. But what's funny is he didn't tell me until I came back. This is my night because this morning I got punched.
But I'm sure he didn't tell you the part where he was calling her fat. I told him, you tell him any girl that you want to be that by a girl.
Well, you know what? People call me fat too. Guess what? They man.
When you call a girl fat, they might haul off and hit you.
They already know we stick together, so I don't know why they back around.
About ready to go line up? Alright, I just talked to my advocate. He says that I can appeal this exit letter, which is going to give me a couple more days to find a place. So we don't have to leave tomorrow because I'm filing an appeal.
What's that?
That means I'm disputing this whole termination exit letter right here. So, because this letter is from my sponsor, Andrew Corder, from the Homeless Families Foundation. He's not the sponsor here, but they gave me a couple of extensions, and he says that since I haven't attained housing after receiving several extensions, that they were terminating me. But I talked to my advocate here, and he says that I need to call Andrew and tell him that I'm gonna appeal this. So that's gonna give me a couple more days, and I'm gonna try and find a landlord where I can sign a lease.
Look, I was trying. You know the blank point? I was trying to do the signature and put 100,000 points. That would have never worked.